Media personalities are an interesting thing. There are guys that I like. There are guys that I don't like. I'm sure there are guys that you like. Hopefully, I'm one of them. And then there are guys that you don't like, or women too. Let me not be sexist on here. And Dan Orlovsky of ESPN is a really interesting one for me. His personality bugs me sometimes. But man, when he talks about playing the quarterback position, I perk up. This is a guy who is highly educated on how to play quarterback, right? He did it in the NFL for a while. I know he's famous for running out of the back of the end zone. He'll get clowned for that for forever. But, outside of that, like the dude played in the NFL. When it comes to playing quarterback, he knows what he's talking about. So ESPN had him write an article the other day on basically the top 10 quarterbacks based off of every single trait, right? So he laid out these 6 different quarterback traits: arm strength, ball placement, which is accuracy, mechanics, decision-making, pocket presence, and second reaction ability. So those are the 6 traits. And he ranked every quarterback 1 through 10. He basically gave us the top 10 for every trait. Our guy, Anthony Richardson, ranked 8th in arm strength, which was kind of surprising. I thought he'd be a little bit higher. He can really put some zip on the ball. That is evident when you watch him play. Okay, he can throw it super far down the field. That ball, like there's no air underneath it when he's zipping it. Okay, and he ranked 3rd in rushing ability, which makes sense. Okay, like all the fantasy people that I know are super excited for him because of his ability to run the ball. Okay, he wasn't mentioned in any of the other categories. Okay, wasn't ranked in top 10 in ball placement. He wasn't ranked top 10 in mechanics. He wasn't ranked top 10 in decision making, and he was not ranked top 10 in pocket presence. And when it comes to arm strength and rushing ability, I would argue that those are the 2 least important categories on the list. Okay, there's your little sneak peek at my top 10 Tuesday coming up at 10:40. Zach Hicks joining me to talk Anthony Richardson and the rest of the Colts at 11 o'clock, top of the hour. But the 2 least important categories on this list are arm strength and rushing ability. Okay, there have been quarterbacks throughout the history of the NFL that have succeeded without the ability to run and have succeeded without the ability to throw the ball 70 yards downfield. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa just got paid a boatload of money. Okay, you know what he doesn't do very well? Run. You know what else he doesn't have? A super strong arm. Okay, like Tua has put together a successful career thus far without the ability to run and without a super strong arm. Peyton Manning, one of the 5 best quarterbacks ever, had a highly successful career, won 2 Super Bowls without the ability to run and without a super strong arm. Brock Purdy has a very average arm. Okay, he's not throwing the ball like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. He's not doing that. Okay, and he's doing just fine in San Francisco. Tom Brady, best quarterback ever, 7 Super Bowl rings. He's won more Super Bowls than any other quarterback in the history. He's won more Super Bowls than any franchise in the history of the NFL. You know what he couldn't do? Scramble. Okay, and he's the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. Okay, the game isn't played 50 yards down the field. It's played 0 to 20 yards down the field. Okay, you don't have to have a cannon to be great, and there's a plethora of quarterbacks that haven't had the ability to scramble. Okay, and as I was reading through this list, I started thinking about how teams draft quarterbacks versus how the Colts drafted their quarterback. And I equated it to buying a car. Okay, I bought a new car, not a new car. I bought a different car, a different used car, 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago now. And I just believe that when you buy a car, you shouldn't buy it for the special features. Okay, if you're buying a car because it has leather seats and seat warmers and, maybe it's a truck and it's lifted and, the tires are really cool and, like if that's why you're buying a car, I would argue that is not wise. Okay? If you're buying a car because it has screens on the back of the headrest so that your kids can watch movies, then I would argue that you're buying the car for the wrong reasons. When you buy a car, you should buy one that has a good engine. Okay, you should buy a car that has enough seats in it to fit your whole family in it. Okay, if you're, a family that likes to travel and you don't like to fly, you should probably buy a car that has tons of storage so that when you go on vacation, you have a place to put your things. Okay, but you should buy a car with a good engine that meets the needs that you and your family have. Okay, because if you do that, it should last a long time. And it's the same thing with quarterbacks. And when I look at Anthony Richardson and I look at why the Colts drafted him, kind of feels like they were just looking at the cool features. Like, oh, he can run. That's great. But when I watch quarterbacks win games, they win it from the pocket. Okay, like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, even Josh Allen. When they win football games in the last 2 minutes, it's not because they ran for 50 yards. Okay, it's because they sat in the pocket and they delivered the ball on time and on target. Okay, and when we look at Anthony Richardson, man, he comes with a bunch of cool features. Okay, he's a freakishly great athlete, man. He's big. He's blazing fast. He can throw the ball a mile. Okay, but the things that actually matter, as of right now, aren't great. He's not very durable. He's not super accurate, right? When it comes to the durability thing, it's hard to be a franchise quarterback when you spend most of your time on the sideline with your arm in a cast holding a Windows tablet. Okay, his ability to be accurate and throwing the football, not great. Did you watch that game on Sunday? Didn't look good. Did you see him throw the ball his rookie year or his last year at Florida? Dude has cannon, and I will not dispute that. But, man, there are moments where it feels like he can't throw a pea in the ocean, okay, when it comes to accuracy. Those are the things that matter. Okay, those are the traits that allow for quarterbacks to last a long time in the NFL. Pocket presence, accuracy, good decision-making. And so far, because it's early, we haven't seen a ton from Anthony Richardson. He threw 84 passes last year, played, 1 year basically at Florida. We haven't seen him do these important things very well. As of right now, the Colts have bought a car with all the cool features, and they are now frantically working to fix the engine before the race starts. Okay, hopefully they can get it done. And I think that they have one of the best mechanics, if you will, in the game when it comes to Shane Steichen. Okay, once again, we're pivoting to a Shane Steichen take. I will die on this hill. Shane Steichen, when you look at his resume, he has a history of helping develop quarterbacks, of helping to fix the engine, if you will. Okay, he's there. He's in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert, his rookie year. And Justin Herbert had the best year a rookie quarterback had ever had up until that point. Okay, the dude was crazy, throwing the ball all over the field. Okay, running when he needed to, figuring out ways to win games, executing in the final 2 minutes. Okay, Shane Steichen is a great mechanic who helped develop Justin Herbert. And then he leaves the Chargers. He heads over to Philadelphia to work for the Eagles. Nick Sirianni, head coach over there, just gives Shane Steichen the offense. He goes, hey, man, you go, you be great. You help me figure out how to help Jalen Hurts pop. And our guy was just, he was like, all right, I got it. Let me be a great mechanic. Let me help fix some of the areas of concern when it comes to Jalen Hurts. And then the next thing you know, Jalen Hurts has an MVP-like season, throwing the ball on time, on target. I will admit the addition of A.J. Brown helped. It really did, right? And that's a front office thing, right? Helping to tune up the engine just a little bit, right? But I remember that season from Jalen Hurts and how good he was. He stood in the pocket, delivered the ball on time and on target, didn't run unless he needed to. And because of that, the Eagles looked up and they were in the Super Bowl, right? In large part because of Shane Steichen and his ability to develop Jalen Hurts, to help develop the things that really matter, right? Because Jalen Hurts is a freak athlete as well. Okay, the dude can squat a semi-truck. Okay, the dude runs really fast. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he's got a big arm. A lot of similarities there between Richardson and Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts needed some fine tuning. He needed a mechanic to come in and help fix the engine, to fix the pocket presence, to fix the ability to throw the ball accurately. Okay, that's what he needed, and Shane Steichen was able to show up, put some tweaks on things, and allow for Jalen Hurts to kind of reach the next level of his development. Now he's here, he's in Indianapolis, and he's going to do the same thing with Anthony Richardson. And I do think that we're starting to see some of it. Okay, look, we saw him throw 4 passes on Sunday. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. But he didn't, rush to get out of the pocket. When he had space to step up in the pocket, he did. Were the throws super accurate? No, they weren't. But I felt like for the most part, the decision-making was good. Okay, the throw to Mo Alley Cox was good. He was open. He threw it to the right shoulder so he could turn and get upfield. When it came to throwing the ball to Kylan Granson, the ball was a little bit behind him, but he was open. That's where he should have thrown the football, right? If he leads him a little bit more, though, it's a first down, right? So, there's some fine-tuning things that are happening, and we're seeing the development of Anthony Richardson happen right before our eyes. And we're going to continue to see it. We're going to see tweaks throughout the season, okay? And that's a good thing, okay? I would argue, right? The tweaks will hopefully help Anthony Richardson get better. I'm still of the belief that these first 4 weeks of the season are going to be rough, okay? Because Anthony Richardson is, once again, a guy that hasn't played a ton of football. Okay, he hasn't. 84 passes last year. Only one season really at Florida where he got to consistently play the game. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of tweaks, and it's just Shane Steichen, the master mechanic, trying to help tweak the engine of Anthony Richardson, the pocket presence, the ball accuracy, or the ball placement, excuse me. Okay, that's all that it is. In these first 4 weeks, the first month of the season, it's going to be a little rocky. But hopefully by week 5, week 6, Shane Steichen has figured out a way for Anthony Richardson to be productive, despite the engine not being perfect quite